And we have an eminent person and the world-class champion, in public speaking, Mr. Gurmeet Singh is with us today from the Taylor's University, Malaysia. And we happened to work together for years, I think as in 2000, 13, 14 and all, we were together and working in Malaysia, Penang, that island. And he was actually the hospitality school head. At that time he was working as a hospitality head. And he was so much passionate personality into the communication and public speaking training. That time itself he started contesting events and things like that. And he's a corporate trainer under the Ministry of Human Resource Development, HRDF, we call it, Human Resource Development Fund. They have released. And he has done for many corporates like, MNCs like Intel and ENO Hotel, Gen Hotel in Penang. Penang is actually a very high tourism place. You have a lot of foreigners, Westerners go there and stay and enjoy their life. Recently Penang was announced as one of the best places for people who want to relax and who want to enjoy their life like that. And we were fortunate, and I was fortunate especially to live there for like a decade with all these members, and we were colleagues for some time. And the beach and the things are very much into still in my views. I could see that I could really enjoy that. So that's really amazing to live in Penang, that island. He's born and brought up in that place, and he settled in Kuala Lumpur now. So Mr. Gurmeet Singh is also into INTI, International College, to train people, and much more he has done it. And with that small note, I welcome you, Mr. Gurmeet, for this occasion. And a formal note of your profile will be given by our faculty, Professor Lakshmikant. And I would like to invite him without any further delay, so that you can start over and we can have more from you than we are talking. We can speak every day with my students, with our students, but this is a very precious time, and the day you're willing to spend with us. And I now invite Lakshmikant to just give a short profile of Mr. Gurmeet Singh.
Very good morning to one and all present in the online, the dignitaries and today's chief guests and students. So Gurmeet Singh is a corporate trainer who is certified by Human Resource Development Fund, and he is a recipient of BA in Business Management certification from Nottingham Trent University, UK, as well as a postgraduate diploma from the University of Hertfordshire, UK. And Gurmeet has extensive experience, especially in the education and the hospitality industries, especially the customer service and team building, communication, and sales and marketing, lecturing and food beverages on other areas. Some of the organizations Gurmeet had trained are Intel, Eli Lilly, and Goodyear Malaysia, Zebra Technologies, Microchip Malaysia, SQL Malaysia, Mullakar International, and Sam Aviation Malaysia, Avantis Technologies, and Jinko Solar, Vistana Hotel Penang, and ENO Hotel Penang, Gen Hotel in Penang, and St. Judy Medicals, Taylor's University, and NIT College Penang. And Gurmeet Singh started his career in lecturing with Olympia College Penang in the year 2013. So he brought him with a solid training in pedagogical methods along with the great energy and enthusiasm. He introduced several new projects for the Student of Council of Olympia College Penang as the chief advisor. In December 2016, Gurmeet Singh was recruited by Livingston House of Learning, a startup education center. He was tasked with setting the hospitality management department. His tasks include syllabus development, hiring and training of lecturers, as well as overseeing the overall running of the department. In the year 2017, he decided to broaden his horizons by accepting a job as an academic coordinator, that is the head of the department of the Business and Economics Department in ICAN College, Kuala Lumpur. He was tasked with hiring and training lecturers, syllabus development, as well as conducting lectures in several subjects in the business management and economics. Gurmeet Singh was also tasked with recruitment of international students from India and Indonesia. So he recruited 8 students in India and 10 students from Indonesia. So Gurmeet Singh is also a passionate about the public speaking and thus joined the Toastmasters in 2010. He was awarded the Advanced Communicator Gold and Advanced Leader Bronze certifications by Toastmasters International. Furthermore, he has also participated in numerous contests and won multiple awards in Toastmasters. Among his great achievements are Table Topics Contest 2015 is a champion and District 51, and International Speech Contest 2017. Again, he won the champion at the district level. And International Speech Contest 2017 got a 3rd place as a world champion of the public speaking in Canada. International Speech Contest 2019, he got in the championship in national finals. And International Speech Contest 2019, he got a 3rd place in the world champions of the public speaking regional quarterfinals. So now we welcome you, sir, for this wonderful session. And now it is up to, it's in your hands, sir, and we hand over the session to you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Sundar, and thank you, Mr. Lakshmi, for that wonderful introduction. Now, before I start, I have a request from all of you. Could you guys turn on your camera? Because it feels a little bit lonely talking to the screen. A few of you have turned it on. I would like more cameras to be on so I can interact with you a little bit more. All right, let's just wait for a few seconds. Thank you, Logeshwar, Anandu, Lijo, for turning on, Gautam as well. All right, Sandhya. Okay, thank you, Revati. Thank you, Lalita. All right. Okay, I think for the rest of you, if you are having any issues with turning on your cameras, no worries. I'll be calling you once in a while for this session. Now, let me start the session by giving you a brief, very brief introduction about me, besides what Mr. Lakshmi had said. All right, so you can get to know me a little bit better. So, like mentioned by Dr. Sundar and Mr. Lakshmi, my name is Gurmeet Singh, and I come from Malaysia. I'm born and brought up in Malaysia, right? And this year, I am 27 years old. All right, let me ask you all this question. How many of you believe I'm actually 27 years old? Can you type yes if you think I look 27? Type no if you think I look older. Type in the chat box. I'm just waiting for your reaction. Don't worry, I won't be offended. If you all think I'm 26 or 27, type yes. If you think I'm older, type no. In the chat box. Or maybe I should ask someone. Okay, let me ask Shipsit. All right, you're all looking 30 plus, Gautam. All right, you all actually right. I am not 27 years old. I am actually 37 years younger than that. Okay, thank you, Pooja, for the compliments. All right, I'm 37 years old this year. So 3 more years, I will be at the age of an uncle. All right, so I'm 37 this year. Gautam, you're completely correct. I am older. Now, a little bit about me. Like mentioned by Dr. Sundar and Mr. Lakshmi, I've been lecturing for many years. Yeah, 37, Pooja. Right, I've been lecturing for many years. So I won't mention that again because they have mentioned that. Let me give you 2 things that are special about me. Now, the first thing that is special about me is this. I easily get lost. All right, whenever I go traveling, whenever I go to a shopping mall, whenever I'm driving, I get lost all the time. I remember in 2017, I went to India, the northern states of India for 16 days. And every state that I went, I got lost. Right? So that's the first thing that is special about me. The second thing that is special about me is this. Although I'm a Punjabi, my origin, my great-grandfathers came from India, I am a lousy Hindi speaker. All right, my Hindi is really terrible. Let me give you an example. When I went to India, there was one morning I took a taxi from my hotel to go to the restaurant that I was going. All right. So in the taxi driver asked me this question in Hindi. How are you, sir? In Hindi. All right. This is how I replied to him. Sir, मैं बहुत ठीक है. मैं बहुत ठीक है. That's what I said. And that guy started laughing. The taxi driver started laughing at me, and then he said this to me. You know what, sir? I'm going to talk to you in English for the rest of the trip. So just to let you know, my Hindi is really bad. So if possible, during this session, let's speak in English. I understand each and every word in Hindi, but the problem is I need to translate it in my mind. So from English, it is translated into Hindi. So I'm a little bit slow in speaking Hindi and quite terrible at it. Right, so let's start off our session with an activity. All right, since we are talking about public speaking and communication, what I want you to do, there is this very nice tool on Zoom. It is called the annotate function. All right, so what I want you to do, I want you to go on view options. It should be on the top. Click on view options, click on annotate, and then click on draw. View options, annotate, and then click on draw. Right, once you have gotten the option, can you draw randomly on the screen? Can you please draw on the screen once you got it? If you cannot get it, just type no into the chat. So I know if you can get it or cannot get it. Now, if you're using a phone, it is a little bit different. For a phone user, it should be on the bottom left. There should be an icon that looks like this. Right, so if you can get it, can you draw on the screen? Okay, Gautam has got it. Well done, Gautam. For the rest of you, try to get it as well. Okay, Revati has got it. Lalita has got it. Kausalya, okay. Shamshol, Liju, okay. All right, good. Because we're going to do an activity in a moment using this function. Now, I'm going to clear the screen in a moment, but please still be on the draw function. All right, stop drawing for a moment. Okay. But don't go away from the function. What we're going to do, this is a word puzzle. All right, there is a word puzzle and there are 8 emotions hidden in this puzzle. What I want you to do, use the annotate function, the draw function. I want you to highlight the 8 feelings, the 8 emotions that are hidden in this puzzle. And we are going to do this in 1 minute. So you have 1 minute. Wait, don't start yet, Pooja. I know you're excited. Don't start yet. All right. When I say go, let me just clear first. Right. So you have to highlight it. Wait, Muthu, give me a second. All right. When I say go, 3, 2, 1, go. Highlight the 8 emotions hidden in here. Okay. We have got angry by Kevin. Lalita has got sad. Well done. Worried. Okay. All right. Well done, Pooja. Kevin, I don't think that's an emotion, but good try. All right. Yeah, happy. Well done, Lalita. Okay, we have gotten happy. Okay. Hirani, I don't think AZXLT is an emotion. All right. Tired. Yeah, good. Calm. Okay. 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. There's 1 more emotion left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 more emotion left. Not mash. Mash is not an emotion. On isn't an emotion either. All right, time's up. Let's see what you all have got if it's correct. Okay. So angry is 1. Worried is the second one. The third one that you all missed was excited. All right. 4th is tired, 5th is calm, 6th is sad, 7th is happy, and the 8th one is surprise. Right, so now I'm not doing this for the sake of doing this. I have a very important question to ask you guys, okay? And in a moment, I want you to unmute yourself if I pick you. Karthik, it's over already. All right. Okay, so, all right, so, okay, so what's the question that I'm going to ask? Let me show you the question. Okay, while these are the 8 emotions again. All right, so first question. Which emotion best represents how you feel when it comes to communication? It could be communicating with strangers. It could be giving a presentation. How do you feel? What's that one emotion that best describes how you feel when it comes to communication or presentation or even public speaking for that matter, right? So I want you to think of that emotion because I am going to call you. Now, if you are called, if your name is called, you need to unmute yourself. Tell me that emotion that you feel and tell me why. Now, don't tell me a long story. Just give me the answer in 30 seconds. All right, so 30 seconds, sir. Okay, let's start with, okay, how do I pick? Okay, I'm going to pick someone who looks very eager to share. Okay, this person is, from the screen, I can see this person saying, pick me, sir. Okay, I'm going to pick you. All right, let's pick Sandhya. Sandhya. Right, you look like you really want to share. So I picked you. Okay, Sandhya, could you unmute yourself?
Sir, I'm excited
All right, excited. Why, Sandhya?
because I have a stage fear, but even though I really want to try in a stage, so
Okay.
it feel like me excited. So.
All right. Okay, well then let's give Sandhya a round of applause, a virtual round of applause. Right. Let's go to one more person, then we'll move on. Let's go to, let's see who looks a little bit serious today. Okay, let's go with Logeshwar. Logeshwar looks very formal, very serious. So Logeshwar, would you like to share? Can't hear you, Logeshwar.
I'm happy to speak with new people.
Okay.
I'm happy. That's
Happy, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, that's good, that's good. Right, now, thank you very much, Logeshwar, for sharing. And thank you, Sandhya, for sharing. Now, the reason why I'm asking this, right, is simply, I don't need to ask a second question. You all seem to be happy to share, happy to speak. Now, the reason why I'm asking you this, right, is because I want to make a very important point. If you feel nervous, if you feel scared, if you feel jittery, like, you feel like uncomfortable before you speak, that's a good thing. That is not a bad thing. That is a good thing. You know why? I always tell myself this, if I feel nervous, if I feel frightened, if I feel scared, that means I feel that what I'm going to do is important. So before you communicate, if you feel scared, nervous, jittery, all right, or uncomfortable, good. All right, that just shows that you feel that that communication, that presentation, that public speaking that you're going to do is important. All right. So to start off today's session, I'd like to tell you this. It is important to acknowledge how you feel, but it's important to know that when you feel uncomfortable, that is not a bad thing. That's a good thing when it comes to public speaking and communication. All right. Now, so we're going to go through today in 5 areas. Right, we're going to touch on 5 areas, and this 5 areas is not going to be a lecture. All right, I'm not going to be speaking all the time, and you're not going to be listening all the time. So just like earlier, it is going to be an interactive session, meaning I won't be speaking all throughout. You will also be speaking. All right, so these are the 5 mistakes that have been made in communication. Now, I am not pulling these mistakes out of the air. This mistake is based on a research done by World Economic Forum in the year 2018. And these are the top 5 out of the top 10 mistakes made by communicators and public speakers. At the same time, these are the 5 mistakes that I have made in my journey. So today, what you can do is I will be sharing a lot of examples of these mistakes that I made. Feel free to laugh at my pain if you want to. All right. So let's start with the first one. Using the same style of communication. Now, to highlight this, let me show you a video. Right? This video is taken from a movie, or rather a TV series called Little Britain. It's a comedy series. Right? In this movie, or rather in this video clip, let's concentrate on this lady in pink in color. Her name is Vicky. Right? So we'll be concentrating on Vicky and concentrating about the style of communication that she has. All right. And after the video, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Okay, so let's watch.
One thing both of our countries can be proud of is that we have the finest juvenile delinquents in the world. At this boot camp in Utah, some new inmates have arrived.
Everybody out! On the double! Make a line! Move it, ladies! Move it, ladies! Move! Let's go! Welcome to Wilderness Lodge. You are here for a reason. Arson, drug abuse, violence. It's going to be tough. But if you stick to the rules, you'll survive. Okay, roll call. Latasha Dean.
Yeah.
Haley Evans.
Yeah.
Natalie Kirk.
Yeah.
Vicky Pollard.
Yeah, but it's me, but I shouldn't actually be here or something or nothing, because let me tell you the whole thing, because this whole thing happened, what I didn't even know nothing about, because a whole load of us went up Disney World, only we all got chucked out for beating up the Aristocats, and then Hannah Garvey said we should all go back in after midnight and burn down the Peter Pan ride as a joke, so we all went back there, but I never done nothing. All I did was like pour the petrol, light the match, that is it. And all of a sudden I started getting blamed for it, but it wasn't just me, and if Kelly Raymond says it was, then don't listen to her, because everyone knows she dyes her mustache.
I have no idea what you just said. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh my God, you're so racist. I just told you the whole thing, right? So shut up. Have you been talking to Shelley Kamen? Because let me tell you about Shelley Kamen. Because Shelley Kamen is well a mixer, and she completely...
All right, so that's the video of Vicky Pollard from the TV series called Little Britain. Now, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, okay? So I want you to unmute yourself and tell me. The question is this. Did you understand what Vicky had said? Did you understand what Vicky had said? That's the question. I promise there's a point to this, okay? Let me call upon Lalita. Lalita, what was Vicky talking about? Do you understand?
No, sir.
Right, it sounded like gibberish, right? Okay, thank you, Lalita.
Sir?
Yeah, thank you, Lalita, for sharing. All right, let's go to Revati. Revati, what do you think? Did you understand a word Vicky said?
No, sir, I can't catch.
Okay, all right. Now, if you don't understand what Vicky said, good. All right, now here's the point I'm trying to make. When I showed the same video, for those of you earlier, Dr. Sundar and Mr. The other person mentioned that I am working in Taylor's University, right? So I showed the same video to my UK students from England, students from Scotland. Guess what? They understood word for word what Vicky had said. So the point I'm trying to make, right? Let's say Vicky speaks to a bunch of people from the UK. Obviously, Vicky can use the same style of speaking, that style of speaking. But let's say Vicky is speaking to a bunch of Malaysians or a bunch of people from India. Can Vicky use the same style of speaking? What do you all think? Can you type yes if you think she should? No if you think she shouldn't. Type yes if you think she should continue to use the same style. No if you think she should change her style. All right. Thank you very much for sharing. Yeah, so the answer is no. Why? The reason why I'm saying this is because you need to make your communication style. You need to change your style according to the audience. According to the audience, right? And if you don't do this, it means as a communicator and as a public speaker, you don't give a damn about your audience. And that's sad, all right? So change your style of speaking to connect with the audience. I'll give you another example. I have a friend, a very good friend, in fact. He does kids public speaking. So he teaches 7-year-old kids to about 14 or 15-year-olds, right, to speak confidently. Now, during his classes, this is how he speaks. Hello, children. Today, we are going to learn about public speaking. All right, so that's how he speaks to little kids. Guess what? Last month, I went out drinking with my friend, that friend of mine. You know how he was speaking to me? Gurmeet, how was your day? And then I looked at him. Do I look like a 12-year-old to you? All right. So the point I'm trying to make, right? When you can't change your style of speaking based on your audience, you're not really a good communicator or public speaker. All right. So step one, mistake number one, not changing the style of speaking based on the audience, using the same style of communication, no matter where you go. That shouldn't happen. All right. Okay. So with that note, let's move on to step number two. Using the same style is a very big mistake. But step number two is even a bigger mistake. Step number two, or rather mistake number two, is interrupting. All right, so here's the problem with interrupting. We all like to interrupt. Like it or not, sometimes we make the mistake of interrupting someone. Why? Because we want to be heard. We want our points to get across. We want people to listen to us. But sometimes interrupting is rude, right? And that is a mistake that happens all the time. Let me give you an example. 1 year ago, or not really 1 year ago, a few months ago, I was sitting with a friend of mine. Okay, we were having a coffee in a coffee shop. Then we were just communicating, we were speaking, right? So as we were speaking, I was telling my friend, you know, I went to Taiwan in the year 2018. I had a wonderful time. Taiwan has a lot of good food. This is the food that I had. This is the places I went in Taiwan. I was having a good time. So as I was speaking, right, suddenly my friend just cut in. Okay, Gurmeet, Taiwan is good, but do you know where you should go? You should go to Bali. And then he hijacked my communication, my conversation. My conversation was about Taiwan, right? He hijacked it, interrupted me, hijacked it, and made the conversation about Bali. And then in my mind, I was thinking, what the hell just happened? I was just talking about Taiwan. Why is it suddenly now about Bali, you know? Right? So it's a very bad thing to do, you know, when you interrupt people. Okay, so with that note, let's do an interrupting practice. Okay, I'm going to be the victim and I'm going to call one of you, all right, to do this role play with me. So what's going to happen? If I call you, right, you have to unmute yourself. I will start speaking. I'll be telling you about an unpleasant incident that happened to me recently. What I want you to do, if you are picked, I want you to interrupt me in between. Just interrupt me and tell your own story. All right? Don't be scared. Just interrupt me and tell your own story, and we will see what happens. Right? Don't worry. I won't be. I will not go back to Dr. Sundar and tell him, okay, Roshan interrupted me, you minus his marks. Not going to happen, okay? All right, so you don't worry about that. Okay, so let's pick someone. Let's pick, let's see, who do I pick? Okay, let's go with Gautam. All right, Gautam, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Gautam, remember, when I start speaking, 20 seconds into my speech, I want you to interrupt me. Okay?
Okay.
You all right? Okay, I'm going to start speaking now. Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing with you about an unpleasant incident that happened in.
Hi, sir.
I'm going to be
Hi, sir.
trying
How are
to.
you, sir? Hi, sir.
Hi, Gautam. Okay, let me continue. Anyway,
am I audible? Am I audible?
Okay, thank you, Gautam. Let's give Gautam a round of applause. All right, Gautam, you can stop interrupting now. All right, now let me ask you this question, everyone. How do you think the speaker I felt? This was an exercise, so I didn't feel bad. But let's say this was a real life situation. Someone was speaking up there on stage, and then another person interrupts that person. How do you think the speaker will feel? Can you type out in the chat box? Insulted, Akshay said, yeah?
He feels embarrassing, sir.
All right, embarrassed, yes? Okay, what about the rest? What do you think the speaker will feel? Let's ask Roshan. Wait, did I call you Roshan? I didn't call you yet, right? No, I haven't called you yet. Okay, how do you think the speaker will feel?
Like as Akshay said, he will feel insulted and angry towards
Yeah.
the person.
Okay, thank you, Roshan, for that. Lalita said he gets disturbed, he gets angry. So yeah, the second biggest mistake that communicators make or public speakers make is not listening to the other person, interrupting. All right, so do not interrupt when another person is sharing something. Right, it is very rude. It is very, what's the word, disrespectful. Okay, so never interrupt. That's the second one. Let's move on to the next mistake, the third one. Not pausing to listen. So you want to talk all the time. You love the sound of your voice. You don't allow other people to speak. Do you know a friend like this who talks too much? Do you all know a friend like this? Can you type yes in the chat box if you have a friend like this? Okay, yeah. So we all have one of these friends. Okay. So why does this happen? Why do we sometimes, or why do your friends sometimes not pause to listen? Why is it people love to talk all the time? So let me give you 6 reasons, okay? The first one is because there is a natural desire to want to talk. You want to share your ideas, you want to share your thoughts, you want to share your opinions, right? So there is a natural desire to talk. So that's the first reason why people don't pause to listen. They talk all the time. Now, the second reason is judgment of others. You think the other person has nothing good to share. All right, the person is boring. So you want to speak, continue the conversation. So your judgment of the other person is that person's not very good in conversations. That person's not a good communicator. That person's not a good public speaker. So you judge the other person, and as a result, you do not pause to listen. Right? There is a bias. Let's say the other person is sharing something that you disagree with. You disagree with, right? You might be thinking, okay, this person's going to be sharing about this idea that I disagree with. I'm not going to listen anymore. I'm going to start speaking, right? So biases, especially when you disagree with the topic. I'll give it an example. There was one time I attended a speech contest. And during the speech contest, there was this girl who was presenting a speech about feminism. All right, now it's getting big. Feminism, feminist issues, women's issues, women's rights. Right? Unfortunately, there was one person in the audience. It was a contest in the audience who disagreed strongly with that girl. Right? She was talking about feminism. He disagreed. He was a men's rights activist. He was a very, like, men are always right, women are wrong type of attitude he had. So you know what he did? He immediately interrupted her and then he started speaking. Right? So the reason why he didn't allow that person to speak, he didn't listen to that girl, was because he disagreed with what she had to say. Right? The next one is ego. Okay. This one happens all the time. You think you know the best. We think we know the best. We think we have the answers. We think that we are the smartest in the room, right? So ego gets in the way, and it shouldn't get in the way, right? The fifth one is multitasking. Now, this one is a particular pet peeve or something that I try not to do. And if someone does this to me, I get really annoyed. Have you ever been in a cafe, right? You're chatting with your friend, you're speaking to your friend, you're communicating with your friend, and your friend is on the phone like this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, good. Everything very nice. Yeah. How do you feel? Right? I had a friend like this, and I really wanted to slap him, I really wanted to slap him, but I didn't because he's my friend. So multitasking is bad. Now, I'll give another example when it comes to public speaking as well. This happened to me. All right, I was teaching a class. And this was face-to-face before COVID happened. At the same time, I was getting messages on my phone from my friends, my good friends. All right. So this is how it went. As a public speaker, as a teacher, as a lecturer, right? I was teaching them, and in one hand I had my phone. So I was checking my messages and teaching, checking my messages and then speaking. And you know what happened? What I had to say didn't jive with the lesson. What I had to say didn't make sense to the audience, right? So yeah, do not multitask when you are speaking, when you're communicating, when you're presenting, right? And finally, they don't want to listen. Okay, you want to shut the other person off. So the third mistake that many public speakers do, many communicators do, is not pausing to listen to the other person. Speaking is important, but what's more important when it comes to communication, when it comes to public speaking, is to listen. All right? So that's the third mistake. The fourth one is not having emotion. Now, have you ever been in, have you ever heard a speech where you were really bored? You were really bored. The speaker was very boring. Have you ever been in this situation before? You found the speaker very boring. Can you type yes if you have found the speaker that is boring? Hopefully not me. Type yes if you have been in a talk that where you found the speaker really boring. Okay. And you know, for a long time, right? I was always wondering, why is it that that public speaker or that communicator or that speaker is boring? And then I finally realized it. It is because the speaker is just speaking for the sake of speaking. There is no emotion behind the words. Right? I'll give you an example. Okay. What I want to do now is I'm going to pick 3 people. I want you to unmute yourself once you're picked, and then I'll tell you what you need to do. All right. Let's go with let's see, who should I pick? Okay, let's go with Lijo Joy. Okay, that's the first one. Second one is Vignesh Kumar. Okay, Vignesh, could you unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and let's go with Shamsul Arifa. J. Shamsul Arifa. Okay, 3 of you have been unmuted. This is what I want you to do. Okay, this activity is called How Are You activity. I want to emphasize on the importance of emotion. Okay, so what's going to happen in a moment? I am going to tell you to repeat the words how are you. So when I tell you to repeat the words, you just repeat how are you, how are you, how are you, how are you, until I tell you to stop. Once I tell you to stop, you stop. I will give you an emotion. All right, I'll tell you an emotion. Then you have to repeat the words again, but you have to use that emotion. Okay? All right, so first round, very normal. Just repeat the words as normal. Okay? All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Repeat the words, how are you, non-stop.
How are you? 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 How are
Okay,
you?
stop,
How are
stop,
you?
stop, stop. All right, now what I want you to do is repeat the words using sadness. Use the emotion of sadness.
How are you? How are you? How...
Okay, stop, stop, stop. Next one, I want you to repeat the words using anger.
How are you?
How are you? How are you? How are you?
Okay, Shamsul sounds very angry. Okay, stop. Last one. I want you to repeat the words using happiness. You are extremely happy.
How are you? How are you?
How are you? How are you? How are you?
All right, okay, you can stop. So let's give them a round of applause for that. Okay, the point I'm trying to make, right? It's the same sentence, how are you? But do you see the impact is different when you use a certain emotion, right? I'll give you an example. Earlier, we were talking about feminist issues. Let's say you're giving a talk on feminist issues, women's issues. You are angry about something that happened. It is good to use the emotion of anger when you're speaking, all right? When you're talking about delivering good news, You're delivering good news in your presentation. It is good to incorporate the emotion of happiness. All right. Now, this is what I found out. Words are important, but do you know what is more important? The emotions that you put behind the words. Do you know why a lot of speakers, a lot of presenters are boring? Because they speak the same way. They don't put any emotion into their words. Can you see I just put in anger in my words as I was speaking? Right? So before you speak, all right, tell yourself this. I want to select an emotion to use during my presentation, right? Depending on the presentation. So if you're talking about a problem, maybe you want to use anger. If you're talking about good news, you want to use happiness. You're talking about asking people to do something, you might want to use a fast pace, right? A different emotion. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is the fourth mistake, and I think this is probably the biggest mistake that a lot of speakers make, a lot of presenters make, a lot of communicators make, is not having emotion behind their words, behind their speeches, behind their presentations. So before you start speaking, ask yourself this question: what emotion am I going to use in my presentation today? Very, very important. And a lot of times people don't do this, right? And let's go with the last part, the last mistake that a lot of communicators make. We're talking about speech, we're talking about listening, we're talking about emotion. But one thing that is very important that a lot of presenters, a lot of public speakers overlook is body language. So I'm going to show you this clip. It is a normal conversation that's happening in a hotel. All right, we're going to look at the body language that the hotel clerk, the front office clerk, displays to the customer. All right, and you tell me, if you are the customer, how will you feel? All right, so let's watch this video.
Hello.
Hi. Can I help you?
Yes, I actually have a reservation for this weekend. And
Hold on a second. What's the last name?
Valentine is the last name.
Like the day?
Yes, just like the holiday.
It's under Tawatha?
Yes, Daniel.
All right. We got you in a room with 2 double beds for 2 nights. Is that right?
Actually, the kids stayed at home, and it's just going to be me and the hubby. So we were hoping to get like a king size bed.
No, we don't change rooms at the Seaver Inn.
Okay, the double's fine. We'll just push them together, I guess. Can I ask what floor it's on?
The first.
Is there any possible way we can get something with a better view? We're just trying to do something romantic.
All right. We can do the 4th floor. Is that
Not
fine?
quite what I was hoping, but okay. I guess that works just fine. Sure. Thanks, Daniel, for making the effort to.
All right. How many keys can we get for you?
2 would be great. 2 keys, just in case.
Is there a Mr. Valentine?
Yeah.
So like 1 key for me, 1 key for you?
1 key for me, 1 for my husband. That would be nice.
All right, fine. Here's 2 keys.
Okay.
That's the
thanks.
room.
Perfect.
Okay, so that is the video. Right. So let me ask you all this question. How would you feel if you were that customer? How would you feel? Can you type out in the chat box? How many of you would feel angry? Just type out angry if you would feel angry. Irritated and angry, feel angry, okay? All right. Okay, what about the rest? How would you feel? Feel angry? Okay, yeah. Can we look at the video, right? When you look at the video, disgusted, wow, Shirani, strong word. Yeah, but I agree. You will feel disgusted as well. Pooja, you have anything to say? You raised your hand. Angry and definitely upbeat. Okay, Gautam will punch the person. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make, right? When the fifth mistake that a lot of speakers, communicators make is not having proper body language. So what do I mean? One of the biggest mistakes that we saw in that video is, number one, not having proper eye contact. Do you notice that the guy rarely looked at the customer, turned around and then interrupted the customer and turned around, right? So when it comes to body language, right, when you are speaking to someone, look at that person, right? If you have a crowd, what you can do, right? Let's say it's a whole lecture theater, there are hundreds of people. By the way, the biggest crowd I've spoken with is in Vancouver, Canada. When I was doing that that public speaking championship thing, there were 2,500 people in the audience, right? So you're probably wondering, Gurmeet, you're speaking about eye contact, but if I have so many people, how do I look at each and every one of them? What you can do, let's say it's a lecture hall, pick 3 people, one on the left, one in the middle, one on the right, and you look at them. Look to the left, look to the right, to the middle, and then look to the right. Okay, do this, and then you will be able to maintain eye contact. But don't practice it. Don't practice. Okay, if you practice, it will look like this. Make it natural. Make it natural. Make sure it's natural. Okay, so do not practice your eye contact. What you need to do is look at one person on the left, one in the middle, one at the right. Right? Now that's the first one. The second mistake in terms of this video is when the guy did this, cross the arm. So as a public speaker, you should never cross your arms. This shows that you're defensive. This shows you're not bothered. This shows you don't want to speak at all. All right. So don't cross your arms. Okay. If you want to use your arms, use your arms. Use your hands. If you don't want to use it, put it to the side. All right. Do not cross it. Okay. So that's the last and the final thing I'd like to share today. So let me end by saying this, that good communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity. All right, so very important. Okay, so with that note, we have come to the end of our session. Are there any questions for me? Is there any questions for me? Right, if you're clear, no questions, just give me a thumbs up, because I'm going to go through a quiz to test if you have been listening to what I say. All right.
Gurmeet,
yes.
I want at least few people to share their the emotions or what they have learned in like 20 seconds or 10 seconds. They can 1 or 2 lines, and that will show the real thing. I think that outcome. We always talk about outcome based. And it's volunteer. We don't want to call names, and then proceed. Lijo, you start with. Lijo, Joy, you start with.
Sir, I have one small doubt, sir, to ask with you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
While going for a one-to-one communication, how long we must maintain eye contact?
All right. So not too long, but not too little as well. All right. What do I mean? A safe amount of time when it comes to looking to someone is about 5 to 7 seconds. 5 to 7 seconds, look away. 5 to 7 seconds, look away. All right. That is safe. Okay, you don't stare at a person when it comes to eye contact, especially when you're meeting a girl. Don't look at her all the time like this. Very disrespectful, very creepy. Okay, so 5 to 7 seconds is my my go-to, right? You can start by practicing, but eventually it gets natural. You don't even have to think about it. Right? Thanks, Lijo, for the question. Any other questions?
Roshan?
No questions. Yes.
Okay, Roshan's clear. Okay, Roshan, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Right. What is your biggest takeaway from today? If you can't remember anything, everything, if you could remember one thing that you found the most useful, what would it be? What is the most useful thing for you?
I felt that having what?
Sorry?
It's okay to be scared and to have a shyness and a stage fear while speaking.
All right.
So it's not a bad thing, and it's a good thing actually.
Okay.
That's what I learned.
That's
all right.
Really
Thank
good.
you, Roshan.
That's really good. That's really good. So, Kavin? Are you there, Kavin? Shirani?
Sir, when we get into the stage, we get that one nervousness, sir. We know everything, we have that in our mind, but when as soon as we go there, we forget everything what we are trying to say. But it takes some time to deliver. But in our face, even we are showing that we are so nervous like that. How to overcome that, sir?
All right. So to overcome that, the number one rule is to practice. All right. The more you practice, the better you get. Number two, here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem. Okay. And if you can overcome this, this will help you with your nervous situation. Now, before you go up on stage, before you go up to deliver a presentation, in your mind, at the back of your mind is telling you, oh my God, I'm going to fail. I'm going to be forgetting my speech. I'm not going to be able to deliver. Right? That's at the back of your mind. So instead of letting your mind think that way, what I do before I give a presentation is I will envision the future. I will envision my participants, the crowd laughing at my jokes. I will envision myself giving a confident presentation. I will envision people like giving me a clap during my presentation. So before you give a speech, right, and before you give a presentation, before you talk, before you communicate, right, if you let your mind wander, if you don't visualize your success, your mind is automatically going to go into, I'm going to fail, this presentation is going to be a disaster, I'm going to forget my speech. So those are the two ways I overcome. Thank you, Shirani, for the question.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, your gratitude, your emotion, good emotion, I mean?
Sir,
yeah.
Actually, I used to stare at the people when I go onto the stage, and just see back of the wall and not notice at any person. How to overcome this?
You mean that you stare across to the wall, is it? Okay,
the
so
wall
like
at
I
the
mentioned.
same person.
Oh, you stare at the same person. Okay, so what you need to do, like I mentioned earlier, you pick 3 people in the crowd. Now, when I mentioned pick 3 people, pick the people in the middle. Let's say it's a lecture theater. You have like 60 seats. Okay, it's a lecture theater like this. There'll be a left-hand side. There will be a middle. There will be a right. Pick one person on the left, in the middle left. You want to look at that person. In the middle crowd, the middle row, you pick one person. And then the right row, you pick another person. When you look at that person, right, when you're looking at those 3 people that you've selected, the other people will think you're looking at them. Right? So that's why when I pick the person, I always pick 3 people only. If you look at everyone, you will get too nervous. Okay, you'll get very scared. So just pick 3. One on the left, one in the middle, one on the right. And then you look at them. Okay, so you look at them, left, middle. Okay, that's how you become better at enhance your eye contact. But thank you for the question. We have
the last
time for one.
Can we have one more person? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone? Volunteer. We don't want it to be. We may be ready to speak. Anyone? Because we have limited time. Yes, Mr. Gurmeet has to go in 5 minutes time to another session.
Yes.
No other questions? No gratitude? Wow.
No
then
worries, no worries. They are shy.
then that's okay. I think everyone will have their gratitude and they'll share with me later, Mr. Gurmeet.
Okay.
It's a great session today. You made it in a very simple form, and you know, you from the beginning, what are the basic things they got to do on the stage?
Yeah.
That's really, really good. The emotion, always I believe in that. Many people used to tell that the way we speak, it must come with emotion. You got to speak from the heart.
Yes,
Then really,
exactly.
really you can see people love the way you're talking So that's very important. I totally into it. I believe in that. I practice most of the time, all the time. I could see many people even told me the way you speak, you know, you speak from your heart. You don't simply speak.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. But many of you and our own students, you have that caliber, you know, you speak from your heart. And those who are not yet, instead of speaking so much, you speak little, but it should come from your heart. Even any content you take it, even subject you take it, when we deliver, we put it, we digest, we put it, and we just make it in on our own way. So it reaches you more better. That's the reason sometimes the classes you find it, some classes you find it interesting, some classes you find it boring and things like that.
Yeah.
And we cannot change everybody, but we can change ourselves.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a good note from Mr. Gurmeet Singh today. He's a great person. You know, I was just waiting for him with his time. I was waiting for his contact. You know, for almost like 3-4 years. I was just waiting and waiting.